Hey everybody, welcome to day 96, Reseller Reflections, a day in the life of a full-time reseller supporting her family. It is September 12th, 2024, and we're going to talk a little bit about fear in a second. First of all, I just want to say that our sales, our 10-day streak of hitting our sales has ended today. We didn't make day 11, but we did 10 days in a row of meeting our sales goal. So that was awesome. Putting the work in. I'm sure we're going to have another streak pretty soon, but today was the end of it. So, the pressure's off a little bit. It was a little bit nerve wracking, like, oh gosh, is today going to be the day it doesn't happen? But yeah, today was the day it didn't happen. But it was still a great day. We're in the middle of our Listapalooza in our Consignment Chats Patreon group. If you want to head over there and join, the link is always in the show notes. Listapalooza is available to everybody. Just join as a free member if you're not already. All right. So we've been blazing through the day, getting things done, working real hard, and I'm really tired. Focused pretty intently today. I had a goal of getting the area behind me. There, I'm gonna cleared off because I'm having guests and I need the couch for in case there's a couple extra people, extra sleeping room. So yeah, I wanted to have that table cleared off, the couch cleared off, everything kind of cleaned up there. So I did it. Yes. All right. And I had to go into Patreon and put my listing numbers in so Molly can tabulate them today and we can work toward that big group goal that we set. All right. So that was it. That was a really big win to get that done. I didn't anticipate actually getting that done today, but there were a lot of big items, so not that many, but they took up a lot of room and now they are put away in inventory. Yes, yes, yes. All right. So I'm reset to 0, right? I got that cleared off. I have my desk cleared off. I have my shipping done. I am ready to end the day. I was considering, so I do 4 hours of listing a day, and tomorrow I'm going to have an early day because my guests, I think, are going to be here a little early. So I was like, all right, well, am I going to get my 4 hours in tomorrow? Maybe after I finish Reseller Reflections, I'll do an hour or two more. I just do not have it in me today. I'm just going to have to, really focus early in the day tomorrow and get those 4 hours in because I am absolutely committed to that. And I know I can't make it up on the weekend. There's just not going to be enough time. So, all right, that's got to happen tomorrow. So you know what? I've been talking about sleep and how foundational it is. Yes. All right. I'm going to take my own advice. I think if I sleep tonight and am well rested, that 4 hours will be easier than trying to push myself tonight and, then be exhausted tomorrow. So, all right, that's the plan. I'm going to take my own advice here. All right. So I am reset to 0 and along with me on this challenge, as always, so proud of these guys. All right, Jill of Rusted Truck Relics, Jason, Santee Swapper, Char, Fabulous Flamingos, Kathy Singz, Nick, Mr. C Chats, Vanessa, Brightest Holidays, and Diabetic Reseller, Judith R, and Pam of Whimsy and Such. Thanks, guys. You're the best. All right. So in in day 74 of Reseller Reflections, I talked about fear. We talked together about fear. It was really uncomfortable. I just made myself go back and watch it. So I was sure I was referencing the right Reseller Reflections, but it was day 74. That was the uncomfortable one. And I'm getting a little more comfortable with fear here. This is exciting. I'm gonna tell you the quote that I love that started the whole thing. It is Muhammad Ali, and he said, "I don't count the sit-ups. I only start counting when it starts hurting because they're the ones that count. That's what makes you a champion." And yeah, when it hurts, right? You have to have. And I was like, I don't know how to develop the confidence to just keep going. And I recently heard something that, you just do the thing. You just have the courage to do the thing and the confidence follows, right? Because when you're scared of something, you don't necessarily have the confidence to do it. So think about it the other way around, right? Like just have the courage to do it and the confidence will follow. So I think I'm doing that, right? Like I'm stepping into that. And that whole idea came at just the right time because I guess I was open to hearing it. And so, every day I'm stepping into reseller reflections, talking about what it's like in my life as a full-time reseller, talking about the wins, the struggles, all of that. Very, very uncomfortable, very afraid of doing that. If I thought of myself even 5 years ago doing something like this, I would, if you asked me, I would be like, not in a million years. You couldn't pay me enough money to do that. Uh, it just was something I was very afraid of. And yeah, so stepping into it, I think the confidence does follow the courage. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts on that. Cause I was kind of, when I listened to episode 74, I was like struggling, like, how am I going to, how am I going to overcome my biggest fear, which is not being good enough or not having something to say, feeling that I don't have something to say. And that's the answer, is you just step into it. All right. That's all I really have to say about it. I mean, it's maybe that flippin' simple. Could it be that simple? Is you just step into it and do the thing that you're afraid of. All right. But new thought. I mean, that's a pretty new thought I'm having on that. And I love it. I mean, the fear is not going to just magically disappear. The confidence is not going to magically appear. You can read and research and do all the things and, you know, put yourself in analysis paralysis, and that's not going to get rid of the fear. It's not going to develop the confidence. It's the courage to do the thing. Okay. So I'm going to also be talking about in the coming weeks a little bit of Brene Brown and her thoughts, and on the Theodore Roosevelt speech, "The Man in the Arena." Super fascinating speech about criticism and fear, and we'll get into that. I don't have time for that tonight. I got to fully develop my thoughts before I come to you uh, on that, and put a couple things into practice first before I talk about it. All right. So, here's the other thing that I have been noticing, right? Because a couple days I had the word of intention fear, because I wanted to really think about and notice where my fear was coming from, what I was truly afraid of, what that and then they say when you start thinking about something or you hear something, all of a sudden they call it your reticular activating system in your brain, right? It's the thing that says, uh, if you've never heard of, my friends and I call it the Langostino effect, because we'd never heard of Langostinos, and then all of a sudden they were everywhere. Yeah. But anyway, like when you hear of something, or you're getting a new car and all of a sudden you see that car everywhere on the road, or the Langostino effect. But anyway, that's your reticular activating system. That's your brain. It takes cues, like whatever you're focusing on, you all of a sudden see everywhere. And I started to see something very interesting, is I started to notice how many times the people around me used the words, "I'm afraid. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid of that." And it really is shocking how many times in a day I hear somebody say, "I'm afraid." And it could be something like super simple, like, I'm uh, afraid I ordered the wrong boxes for shipping. I'm afraid I won't get it right. I'm afraid I typed the wrong number in. I'm afraid. It is everywhere. And, I can't help myself but just like think a little deeper when somebody says that, and just I can't help but see how it's holding them back and holding people back. And the same applies to me, right? That's why I'm noticing it, because I noticed it in myself. But I'm super sensitive now to people saying, I'm afraid. And, next thing my mind logically jumps to is, oh my gosh, that's like holding them back. I can see it. It's wild. All right. So if anybody else is kind of looking at what they're afraid of, or like what your real deep seated fear is, start to notice, right? Use that reticular, well, it's not really, you don't do it consciously, but you'll start noticing, like focus on what you're afraid of. And you're going to start noticing people in your life say, I'm afraid of, and how often that comes into conversation. So my mom is fairly religious, and she always says, don't worry, just give your worries up to God. You know, don't worry. And what I've noticed is that she worries a lot and often uses the term, I'm afraid. Oh, I'm afraid that's not going to work. Okay. That's a really big one that I hear a lot in the reselling world. Well, I'm afraid that's not going to work. Well, you know, if it makes sense, try it. Don't be afraid. Prove it's not going to work. If it's something worthwhile, maybe bounce your ideas off somebody first, but just start noticing. Just start noticing, and you're going to be like, wow, I didn't even realize, like, I was saying that. I didn't even realize that was holding me back. And with your friends, you're going to notice it, with your coworkers, with your mastermind group, with whoever, you're going to notice it. And all right, so I'm just going to leave you with the Muhammad Ali quote before I see you on day 97 tomorrow. And this quote is, I don't count the sit-ups. I only start counting when it starts hurting, because they're the ones that count. That's what makes a champion. All right, guys.